All right, it looks like it is 12 o'clock on the nose, so I'm going to get us started. Welcome to our February Lunch and Learn with the New York State Kinship Navigator. Today we have joining us Parent to Parent of New York State, Valerie Dill, will be giving us an overview of their program. Just some general housekeeping. This webinar will be recorded. It will be available on the Navigator's YouTube page. Everybody that's in attendance today and that is signed up will get the PowerPoint from today, as well as the link to the recording. You are on mute. If you have questions, feel free to drop them in the chat and we will answer those questions at the end of the session. Thank you for joining us. My name is Rae Glaser. I'm the director of the New York State Kinship Navigator. I'm going to give just a very brief overview of our Lunch and Learns, as well as an overview of the Kinship Navigator services, and then I'll turn it over to Valerie. So our monthly Lunch and Learn series is held on the third Thursday of the month at 12 o'clock. What we do is we come together, we have discussion with people across the state that provide services that may be of interest to kinship families, kinship professionals. These are 30 to 60-minute presentations to learn about kinship-specific issues. All the webinars are recorded and accessible on the Kinship Navigator YouTube channel. And coming up on March 16th, we will have a presentation from the New York State Taxation Department on tax credits for kinship caregivers. So feel free to join in. That registration will go live on our website either tomorrow or next week, and we will of course send out information so that you can register. So the New York State Kinship Navigator program, as many of you are familiar with, we are information, referral, and education for kinship families across New York State. We provide information on available financial assistance, legal information for families, school enrollment, all across New York State for all kinship families, prospective kinship families, professionals working with those families. We are the statewide hub for that INR for all of those people that I just mentioned, and we work very closely with kinship programs, local agencies, departments of social services. The two main ways that you can access our services are through our helpline and our website. Here's just a very brief overview. For information, we have legal fact sheets on our website, county resources. We provide a helpline Monday through Friday, 10 to 4, online chat, email. We provide referrals to families, mostly for kinship services, but also for aging services, legal services, youth, in-depth county resources that you can access on our website as well by county and specific criteria. We provide presentations for professionals, much like this one. Also one-on-one presentations regarding financial assistance for families, legal options, kinship 101 to human service agencies. We also do have an online video archive on our website that gives you those access to those presentations online, our most common ones. And then we also do provide advocacy on a case-by-case basis for kinship caregivers, as well as statewide advocacy for the KinCare Coalition. The coalition meets every third Tuesday standard at 1 o'clock to discuss kinship issues, best practices for programs. We are in our policy season right now, so we're doing a lot of work with policy as well as budget and meeting more frequently than that. If you have an interest in joining the coalition or any of our meetings, the information is right on the Navigator homepage, which brings me to our website, www.nysnavigator.org. You can see just a brief overview of everything that I was speaking about. Feel free to check out our website. You can chat with a kinship specialist, call our helpline for more information. The two brief things that I want to mention about the Navigator in addition are our virtual case management program, which we offer in 16 of the 62 counties in New York State. You don't have to do anything special to enroll in this. If you're a caregiver or you're working with a caregiver in one of these counties, they can call our helpline. They will be assigned a virtual case manager who will work with them for up to 6 months to help them with benefits application, help them understand their legal options, work a little bit more in depth in those counties to make appropriate referrals, conduct the family needs scale to make sure that that family is getting access to the services that they need and provide support to them in a virtual capacity. The counties for virtual case management are listed right here. And like I said, you don't need to do anything special. Just give us a call and we will make sure that we connect you with your virtual case manager. And then the last thing is if you're a human services agency person or you're working with kinship families in a professional capacity, feel free to give them our permission to contact form. A caregiver can always call our helpline, but the permission to contact form is really a way for you as a professional to facilitate that. You fill out the back with them, fax it to the navigator or email it to the navigator, and we will be in contact with them within 2 business days. You can access that form right online at our website, or we are happy to mail that form to you, email it to you, however you need to. It's simply a way to take the onus off of the kinship families from contacting us directly. Many of you know when you're working with kinship families, there's a lot on their plate. So if the navigator can reach out to them via that permission to contact form, we are happy to do so. If you have any questions, feel free to just let me know. My contact information is at the end as well, or you can call our helpline. So without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to the meat of our program today, Valerie Dill from Parent to Parent of New York State. She is a statewide program manager for family support services, and I'm really excited for her to give you information on the program. Over to you, Valerie.
Thank you. And thank you for having me. We were all saying, very nice to be here, and we are mutually in love with each other. I love Kinship Navigator. Apparently you guys love Parent to Parent, which is great. I can't say enough nice things about Kinship Navigator. I'm going to hear to, my name is Valerie Colavecchio-Dill. I'm the statewide program manager for Parent to Parent of New York State. We're going to give you a brief overview of Parent to Parent of New York State. Feel free to put questions in the chat for me. I'm happy to answer them as we go along, if that's okay, or we can wait to the end, whatever works for you guys. This is our first slide, and I love to not read from the slide, but I'll tell you a little bit about it. If the name is really important for you to know, it's not just for parents. It is, we are Parent to Parent of New York State. We offer resources, guidance, and support to families of special need children and adults. So I really want you all to know that it's not just for parents. It's really for anyone in your family who needs resources, guidance, or support. We get our funding from a variety of resources. OPWDD is our largest provider grant. We are their largest grant. They give us, we're their biggest grant provider. So I work under that grant, which is Family Support Services. But we also get grants from Maternal Child Health Bureau, HRSA, Department of Health, and then Starbridge in our Capital District and North Country region also provide some advocacy and special education training and parent training. So we'll go to the next slide. Thank you. So we'll talk about family support services a lot here, because the first thing you should know about Parent to Parent is that to work for Parent to Parent, you unofficially have, it's not certainly a requirement of the job, but you have to be a parent of a special need child or adult. My son Parker is 18. He was born with a rare genetic disorder. He is visually impaired and he has autism. We have coordinators who have children with Down syndrome. We have coordinators who have adults with cerebral palsy, autism, you name it, we've got someone in there. It makes us uniquely different in that way, that it's not another doctor or a lawyer or a teacher telling you what to do, but it's really a parent saying, I understand how you feel and I've been there, because we really have. The diagnosis might be different, but the experiences are often very similar. So we've got offices statewide, we've got offices if you're in the upstate area. We changed our names. We now call them Upstate East and a bunch of different counties. And then we've got us Upstate West, which is like Rochester, Buffalo, Syracuse, that kind of thing. All offices are open Monday through Friday. Typically the coordinators are there, I would say, until 6 or 7 at night. You don't need an IEP, you don't need a 504, you don't need a diagnosis to call Parent to Parent. Any child, you could be caring for someone who has asthma or has a learning disability. We're happy to talk to you. You don't need, everything is, we're grant funded, so there's no cost or anything like that. We do a lot of virtual trainings. We do a lot of webinars. They're right on our website. And we also do, with our advocacy, we do like a family training where you can really learn more about special education, that kind of thing. We do caring for the caregiver. I was saying this to you, the folks here earlier. It's really important. We talk about caring for the caregiver and how important that is. So next slide, please. So the Family Support Services Grant is funded by the Office of Persons with Developmental Disabilities, OPWDD. We are not OPWDD employees, but we most of the time have our offices within their buildings. So we have a strong connection with them and can help you guys, any parents who are trying to apply for OPWDD. We can't fill out the application for you, but we can absolutely explain the qualifications and how you go about it and how long it might take. We also know most of the front door and staff in the OPWDD. We can point you in the right direction for that too, as well as care managers and all that. But information referral, training, and parent matches, and I'll talk about that next. Next slide, please. So one of my favorite things about Parent to Parent is our parent matching program. I often call it match.com for moms and dads. And I mean that kidding in the sense that if you've ever done any online dating, you can get pretty specific on what you're looking for, as well as our parent matching. While everybody at Parent to Parent is a parent, and I absolutely will give you my number, Elsa. It's going to be on one of the slides for sure. Parent to Parent, we have all trained coordinators in the office, but we also train volunteers to help other parents to match. So say you are a caregiver of a 7-year-old who has autism or ADHD, and you want to, and they're starting, you know, 3rd grade, 4th grade, whatever, and you're starting to panic, or they're having some behaviors and you're not really sure how to deal with that. You would call our offices, and really just call me and I'll point you to the right office in your county. And that's as well as providers. If there's any providers, feel free to call us. And we would match that family with another family. We do have trained grandparents. We do have trained siblings. So if you are a grandparent or a sibling raising a sibling, let us know. We're raising a grandchild, please. If you're okay with talking to another parent, we can do that as well. We match, we really take pride in our matches. Our volunteers go through a lot of training. They are vetted. You can't just say, hey, I want to be a support parent and we'll train you. We actively seek them out and say, oh, that would be a great person to work with us. And then we match based on a couple of things. We base it on diagnosis. If that's what you're looking for, you're looking to speak to another parent of a child with autism or Down syndrome or cerebral palsy, great. And say you have, like I said, a 7-year-old, we'd probably match with a parent of a 9 or a 10-year-old, just a little ahead. We're not going to match the family who has a 5-year-old with a 15-year-old. That's not the same experience yet. You're not there yet. So we really take a lot of details in doing those matches. These are not medical trainees. These are not social workers. These are just parents who happen to be trained by Parent to Parent, and it's a conversation. We typically do locally, which is always helpful, so that if they're looking for a dance class or they're looking for a babysitter or whatever, most of the time our support parents are those parents in the know. And what else can I tell you about support parents? Because I love them so much. It's great. Oh, the other thing I want to say is, so say I have a son who has galactosemia. It's a very rare metabolic genetic disorder. I took him until he was 5 years old to find anyone who had a child with galactosemia. So say you have one of those rare genetic disorders, right? Or whatever. First, if your local office can't find a parent for you to speak with, we then have statewide. And they would kind of contact me and say, let's look through our databases and do we have anyone statewide? Chances are we might not. So then we are part of P2P USA, Parent to Parent USA, and we have access to a nationwide database. And we would contact all the parents throughout the country to try to connect you. And most times we get that. I just had a parent who has a child with I never heard of it. It's called NF1, neurofibromatosis 1. She said she's never spoken to anyone. And I said, well, let's see if we can do that. And I could tell the mom was like, right, good time, good luck. I found it on the nationwide database. And I was so happy for her, because when you're raising a child with those rare disorders, just the fact that you could say it out loud and someone understands is lovely. So please, any of you would like to, and particularly because you are caregivers, the experience is different. Heather and I were just saying that before we got on. It is a different experience when you're raising someone you maybe didn't know them from birth, or you're a grandparent. So we'll put you in touch with another grandparent. We'll put you in touch with whoever you like, but just let us know. We're happy to do that. Okay, we can go to the next slide. Okay, so they do provide support parents are my favorite people because they are, again, also caregivers and families and parents of special needs children and adults. So they're really doing this out of the goodness of their heart, wanting to give back. They provide a non-judgmental listening environment. So true, because no one understands like another family member, right? You can just kind of look at each other and you speak sort of the same language. They're just going to encourage you. They're not going to tell you what to do. They're not going to judge you, and everything is confidential. And they understand that there are various stages of adjustment or whatever you're going through. If it's a new diagnosis or it's a new behavior or it's mental health issues, we're going to make sure we match you with someone. And we're also going to follow up and check in with our support parent to make sure that you got what you needed. And if you didn't like it, and that very, very rarely happens, but say you don't feel a positive experience towards your support parent, we'll find you someone else. And you can be matched as many times as you like as well. So I really encourage anyone out there to take advantage of our support parent trainings. And, I trust Kinship Navigator. Anybody here, I'm sure, would be a wonderful support parent because I love what they do. So if you think you want to help, we'd love to have you help. Okay, next slide. Hope I'm not going too fast.
You're doing great. Perfect timing.
I'm Long Islander, so I've got that thick New York accent, and I'm quick. So this is our next grant, F to F, Family to Family Healthcare Information, funded by HRSA. We have a program manager and a regional coordinator. Specifically, they as well do the parent matching, but this is more for families who have special healthcare needs, where this is for like medically fragile, or maybe you've got a kid who's got a brain, something's going brain, the heart, the lungs, whatever. They would provide more information specific to your needs. It's more like the services and how to do it and help with Medicaid. Again, we can't help you apply for any of this, but we're well versed in how you get it, who to call, how to help. And I really think this is important because we also have an e-group where you can talk to other parents for family to family. And they share things like, some kids grow out of wheelchairs, that's maybe if you've never had a kid in a wheelchair, they grow, right? So if you're looking for a wheelchair or cane or something like that, it's very often we can find it from another family, but also help you find it as well. I find that happens a lot. Particularly with our medically fragile families, the pandemic was incredibly hard for them because it's hard for them to get out on a good day. But now you add, a zombie apocalypse, they're not going anywhere. And when it came to vaccination time, we found that it was very hard for a lot of our medically fragile families to get their kids to hospitals to get vaccinated. And we were able to get nurses for the most part in their house and provide COVID tests and vaccinations and that kind of thing. And we can still do that. And we're the first ones to say, if we can't do it, we're going to try to find, we don't do it, but if we're not sure how to find it, we're going to find it for you. I had a family recently call me who had a child with autism who she really wanted to get him vaccinated. The school wasn't taking him back because he wasn't vaccinated. And I called like Albany County or whatever, and they met him in the car outside the parking lot in the car of the state building. They said, we can't, come to your house for this particular county, but we'll meet you outside in the car. So, I love that when we can do things like that, when we can help families, because that's really hard for families to find, right? Like that's a lot of calls for family to make. And if there's caregivers on here now, I know you're busy. I know because I'm raising my 18-year-old. There are not a lot of hours in the day to go start calling Albany and figure out who to call. That's what we do. That's how we help. We're going to hopefully make that easier for you. So please let us know if we can help. All right, let's go to the next slide. Okay, so this is one of my favorites. This is run by Tina Beauperlant, who is our program manager for the Special Education Information Center. She works right out of our upstate East office in Schenectady. And we often, parents think we're advocates and people call us thinking we're advocates statewide. And I often have to say we're not advocates. They empower our parents to advocate for ourselves. But Tina and her team of, I think she's got 4 people working under that grant right now, they are advocates. And if you live in the Albany area or the North, I think it's North Country area, she can come to meetings with you, or she can answer and really she can answer for everybody. I should say that Tina and her team would never turn anybody away. So, you know, if your kid's graduating or they have a 504 and you're trying to figure it out, or the school's not being nice, imagine that, school's not helping one of our kids. She can answer the questions and help you. Again, with COVID, when kids turn 21, you know, many of our children will stay in school till 21. And with COVID, it was a big thing for parents of 21-year-olds. They didn't want their children to graduate in 2020 because they felt like they were missing a year. And we all did, right? So Tina knew right away how to handle that question and helped so many parents who had kids graduating to find the legal document that said, you can keep them in there another year. So any questions like that, please reach out to Tina, reach out to me and I'll point you to Tina, but all that information is on our website. And they do great workshops and webinars about special education law, transferring from EI to CSE, which is Committee for Special Education, if you don't know. They do webinars on guardianship, lots and lots of information. And all of us, particularly Tina's tribe, really empower parents to advocate for themselves. And I know right now she's putting together her family empowerment advocacy series, and it's a weekend thing where they come and they learn a lot. So if any of you are interested in joining that, I think it's about a 6-week program and you really learn a lot about special education. So if you're interested in that, again, let me know. Okay, next slide. So we do a lot of trainings, and these are the ones that my team does, that we can come and do it at your agency. We can come and do it at your school district. You can come call us if you want the presentation, and if we know where it's being provided, and you know, we'll put you in touch with it, you can come. The beauty of the COVID is that a lot of this is done virtually now, so we could absolutely find it. My favorite one, Understanding Supports and Services from the OPWDD. It's a very daunting process to fill out the application and to try to get services for your family member, right? And I know it's harder for you guys because there's that extra step if you're not the legal parent and things like that. But you can do it, and we can help you with it. We can't fill out the paperwork. It's actually all done online now, but we can answer so many questions. We can answer questions, one, because we're in the building, but also because most of our kids have services through OPWDD. My son has self-direction, if you've ever heard of self-direction. And we do the home and community, the HCBS waiver and family support services, and we kind of point you in the right direction to help you. And OPWDD might tell you it's going to take 3 months to apply, and we're going to be honest with you and say it's probably going to take a lot more. So please, any questions about that, and if you ever want us to come and do a presentation on that, great. Parent burnout, preventing parent burnout, another really good one. Really important to take care of ourselves as caregivers and understand what that looks like. So that one we do as a webinar statewide, but again, we'll happily do that. Education record organizer, that's an actual binder we bring, and we kind of talk about how to keep all your paperwork together, and the IEP, and what you can keep and what you should throw out, and how to organize it. It's really good. Healthcare notebook is very similar, but really for any child. I honestly use this on family members as well. Like my dad was ill at one time, and I created a healthcare notebook for him. It's just a document that has all the paperwork in it. So these are all free. We don't charge anything for our presentations. They're done virtually via parent to parent, but our coordinators are often out in the field. One of them is doing it literally right now. She's doing an OPWDD. So if you want to attend any, I'll make sure you get on. I'll figure out, you tell me when you're free, and I'll figure out how to get you in that process. And our coordinators can do these individually as well. So if you happen to be near one of our offices, we can set that up as well. I love these trainings though. We do offer more, but these are kind of my favorite. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, so these are some of our special education ones, and we run these a lot more than we run the other ones. We do a beginner's guide to special education, understanding part 200 of the regs. That's that part of the training date. Yes, training dates are absolutely on our website. We actually redid our website recently. It was awful, and now it's fabulous if you ask me. And we have a nice calendar, and I think it's current until like May or June. So, and if you don't, but really, I forget who said that, but if you don't see it, please let me know and I'll hook you up. Part 200 of the regs are the ones that really go through kids with special education to understand what is allowed and what's not allowed. And, you know, often there's more than we're entitled to than we know. So definitely that's a good one. A 504 is another thing. If any of you have ever had a 504 plan for your child, a lot of people just think it's preferential seating, and it's way beyond that. And Tina can talk about that. Transitioning from high school to the adult world. We're doing that myself. Fun. I'll have to take that webinar again. Talk diploma, non-diploma options. Disciplines students with disabilities. We often hear about parents, their kids being suspended or families, and we talk about how that's not allowed and how to go about that. And how to use assistive technology, which a lot of our kids provide on. And again, these are just some. These are probably, I would say, the top 10. And they are all on our website, and we run them often. Okay, next slide, please. Oh, wow, that was quick. So I have more though, don't worry. So I hope I'm not boring any of you.
You actually did perfectly well, I have to say, Valerie. It is 12:26.
Okay, great.
Us to go for any questions that have come through the chat. We did have one come through that asked, are the training dates on your website?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, perfect. And then
yeah.
Somebody else had asked for your phone number, which I thought was on the last slide, but I don't have it.
Yeah, I'll give it right now if you want. I'll put in the chat if that's easier.
Yeah, that would be wonderful. We drop it in the chat, and then let's see, Elsa asked for your phone number. Elsa, we can put that out as well in the email that we send out with the slides and the recording, so that you've got that. But Valerie, just drop that for folks that are not in the chat. Her number is 631-434-6196.
I have an 800 number. I don't remember it off the top of my head. So if anybody needs an 800 number, I'll give it to you guys, and you can do that.
Perfect. That would be wonderful. We can send that out to everybody. And then we had a comment from Deb Fox, who runs our Broome and Tioga County Kinship program, saying this is excellent information. I had no idea about your services.
Thank you, Deb.
Yes, that was something that we had discussed before the meeting, is that we've had Valerie's agency on our website forever for kinship caregivers. And somehow you are our best kept secret. And I'm very
we're a tiny nonprofit. We're not big and fancy. The only thing I want to add, if I can, is we have a great email list. We send out emails locally to statewide. So, if you want to connect, that's the easiest way to get in touch with parent to parent, is like, we can post your information as well. And I hope we posted this. But anything other than fundraisers we can post, but I know families are always looking for those local events. So join our email list. It's right on our website, how to join, or Bob's name.
And we'll make sure that website's part of it as well. It's right here on the slide, but we'll make sure that everybody's got that information. So is there a flyer that we can post to social media?
Yeah, we have a very old brochure that I can absolutely give you. And we do have a great Facebook page. It's fairly active, but yeah, I'll make sure to pass on the brochure. We've centralized some of our offices, so I don't know how accurate it is, but I'll get something to you for sure.
Perfect. For everybody asking these questions, this will all go in the mass email. Valerie can send me all this information to myself and to Colleen, and we will make sure everybody on this call gets those pieces to pass along. All right, well, I have us at 12:29, so any last minute questions, feel free to drop in the chat. I want to thank Valerie for joining us today. Really informative, extremely helpful. And thank you everybody on the call for being here, part of our Lunch and Learn. And go ahead and mark your calendars for March 16th at 12 o'clock, and we will be coming back to have a conversation about kinship and tax credits. So thank you, everybody. Have a wonderful day, and we will see you next month.
Pleasure. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.